Welcome back to Breakfast Television. It is time for Mom Talk, and today we're talking prom night. Two simple words that bring excitement and fear into parents' minds. Joining me this morning is Susan Marks, she's a social worker who specializes in children and adolescents. And today you're going to talk to us about how parents can cope with the concerns of prom night. So first and foremost, there are a couple of rules that need to be set, but one that's very important that you say is know the rules of the school and the regulations.
Absolutely. You know, every school has their rules and their regulations for prom nights and even certain activities that the school is hosting. And it's up to the parents to not only rely upon their children to give them the information, but to find it out for themselves so that everyone's on the same page, so that everyone knows these are the school rules and this is what's going on, and so that parents can review with the kids that you need to follow the rules.
No matter what. Even though it's your prom night, follow the rules.
And a lot of kids think we're graduating, there's no consequences. There are always consequences, and the rules need to be followed.
Do you think also if there's activities outside of that, because sometimes the prom night continues into activities, you need to know what those activities are and know the rules for there as well?
100%. And if they're school-based activities, then the school sets the rules. If they're non-school-based activities, then it's up to the parents to pull in the reins and say, these are the rules that we expect you to follow.
Which brings us to be clear about your expectations to your children about curfews, alcohol, everything for that night.
Absolutely. You know, as parents, we need to be clear. It doesn't matter how wonderful your children are. You can never assume that they know what you expect.
Right.
You need to tell them, this is what I expect. This is what time I expect you to be home. Or I need to know who you're with and where you are at all times. And this is what I expect regarding alcohol, regarding other risky behaviors, and sit down and have a conversation. It could be a difficult conversation, and you have to be realistic in what you're asking of your children, but have that discussion and be open about it and clear. You're setting your kids up for success that way.
Do you think it's difficult to sit down your child and say, well, listen, this is what I want for you for prom night, or you should just let them have a free-for-all and have the fun that they want to have?
You know what? I think it's very hard, and I think you can always have fun, but you need rules in place for safety. You need rules in place so that kids know what to expect of things themselves. It's not just the parents. So you do sometimes have to give and take and negotiate a little bit. It could be that you've decided that curfew should be 1 o'clock and you negotiate it to be 2 o'clock.
Okay.
That's all good stuff, but there has to be that discussion. Exactly.
And of course, one that a lot of people talk about, prom night is not necessarily about sex.
Prom night is not about sex. Prom night is about a group of kids going out together and celebrating the fact that they're graduating high school. It's their high school experience. And this is where parents have to demystify all the myths about what's supposed to happen on prom nights, days at prom night, and all that kind of stuff.
A lot of kids stay in hotels overnight, though, during prom. How do you control that?
Well, I think, again, it's important to know if your child's staying in a hotel, who they're sharing a room with, and talk to them about the fact that that's a group experience, and that sex is not a group experience, and it's something to be put off for another time. This is really about celebrating and having fun and being with your friends.
And also very important, be available for your child throughout the night. We're talking, if your child has a cell phone, great, but if your child doesn't have a cell phone, what other options are there?
Well, first of all, your kids need to know that you're a phone call or a text away at any time, whether it's 3 in the morning or 5 in the morning.
And you
want
to be open. You want to be able to say, you know what, my child made a mistake. He calls you or she calls you and says, you know what, Mom, I had a little bit too much to drink. Can you come and pick me up?
So that's where parents need to forget about having to punish and discipline that night and give lectures. Lectures on prom night should be thrown in the garbage, save them for another time. This is about really being available for your kids and saying to them, these are situations where you might need to call me if you're not well, if a friend isn't well. These are situations where you might need to call 911. These are situations where you might need to blame a parent if you need to get out of a hard situation. So be available, but again, have those discussions with your children beforehand so they know what you mean. You're not just saying, hey, honey, I'm here. You're saying, I'm here when you need me for this, and you're being clear with your kids.
Well, Susan, we don't have any time left, but we're also very important to remember that this is your child's experience and to allow them to have some fun as well, but you want to limit their fun by saying, you know what, this is what your rules are, this is where I'm available to you, and this is how you should be safe for the night. Enjoy prom night, right? We want your kids to enjoy prom night, but there needs to be a certain set of rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Susan. Great tips here.